I'm super pumped to announce that coming in October, I will be joining Sam Daghash and David Capablanca on stage at their Conscious Trading Academy seminar in Los Angeles. This is a once per year, once in a lifetime event. We had a couple of our students already go last year. They're coming again this year, but we're gonna blow it out of the water. I'm hoping we show up as an ASFX army to this event. So if you wanna join us, it's in October. It's a 3-day event. Bring your family, they can hang out. My wife and kid are coming with me. It's gonna be awesome. Make sure you sign up with the link down in the description and make sure you use the code ASFX. That's gonna save you some money at checkout. I'm gonna be talking to you guys a lot about this event. I wanna blow this thing out of the water, like I said. So grab your ticket now. The early bird tickets are a little cheaper than if you wait. Hopefully you guys decide to jump on, and I'll see you in LA in October.
Right? It's not the losing trade. It's
the way.
What am I running away from? I'm running away from the belief that I am unworthy, because that's the meaning from that. So that's where the deep work needs to happen. When you prime your mind, you create new neural pathways, because the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and not. We're doing things unconsciously because that's the neural pathway that we have, because the brain always wants to save you energy. It wants to do things for you. So it will go, yeah, I got this. I know how you've done this so many times. When this trade happens and you can't lose it, this is how you react, and you're going to start doing this, and this is your damage control, and this is how you're going to lose the shit.
That's so good. That's so good. What's up, traders? Today, I've got a special guest. Sam Daghash is in the building for round 2. We sit down to talk all things about becoming a better loser, which is extremely important for day traders. So today, Sam shares some practical advice, because he is a true practitioner when it comes to trading psychology and all things psychology. He shares some really interesting case studies, really good couple of analogies in here that I think will help make it stick with you guys. So you're going to love this episode. Everyone that is trading, I know you always want to talk about profits. You've got to get better at being a loser. And Sam is an expert in how to psychologically rewire and reprogram and recondition your brain to do that. So make sure you listen. This is one of those episodes you might want to take some notes. Sam is extremely intelligent, so pay attention closely and make sure you're subscribed. Thank you to our sponsors as always, and now enjoy my conversation with Sam Daghash. What's up, traders? Austin from the future. Really quick, I want to just thank our sponsor, Top One Trader. Now, a lot of you have transitioned from CFDs to futures, but I want to suggest that you don't do one or the other, you do both. And if you're looking for a reliable CFD firm, Top One Trader is your go-to. Now, they're based in the US, but more important than that, they actually are still paying traders out. If you go to their Instagram, you'll see last month they paid out over $100,000 to their profitable traders. So if you want to get funded with a CFD firm that is reliable and still paying traders out, and a firm that actually answers their customer support messages very quickly, and I have firsthand experience with that because I have a lot of people in our community that tell me how it's going with Top One, with any of our sponsors, and everyone is still very happy with the work coming from Top One. Just use the link here in the description to this video. I can save you a good little discount. You can help the channel here by supporting and using our affiliate link, and then you could be trading futures and CFDs at the same time, which I think is a no-brainer. So check out Top One. Thank you for being the sponsor. We appreciate Top One very much. And let's get back to the video. All right, traders, we are back. I've got a very special guest. So this is round 2, right, Sam? Second time on the podcast.
Yeah, second time, really. Happy to be here.
It's good to have you back. Yeah, man, it's good to have you. I'm really excited for this. Traders, if you don't know Sam, Sam is a world-renowned, Sam, do you go by like a psychologist? Is that really what people are calling you nowadays? Trading psychologist?
I'm a licensed practitioner and certified master coach, yeah.
And you know why I like what you do, Sam? And I said this in our previous episode. So listeners, if you haven't seen it, I did an episode with Sam and his partner, business partner, David. That one was amazing. That's why we have Sam on today. But Sam is, in true form, a practitioner. Sam has the background and the experience. Sam hasn't just cracked open a psychology book about trading tips and he just is regurgitating. It is 180 degrees the opposite of that. Sam dives deep into the subconscious. Sam will also give practical, actionable takeaways for us, which is why I love your work so much. And I'm so happy to have you back on the show, Sam.
Thank you. Really, thank you for having me back. It's always a pleasure to roll with you and connect with you, Austin. I appreciate it.
Always. So today we are talking about how to be a better loser. Sam and I have crossed paths multiple times. We got to give one of our mutual connections, Thomas, a shout out. Thomas is one of the amazing traders in the Black Shirt Club. He has been to your conference, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But we have had a couple of people go between the two of us over the last couple of months, Sam, and it's all been very positive. And I think a lot of that is due to, like I said, your practical work, the work that you actually give them and say, hey, we're not just talking about these things that are maybe holding you back from making more money. We're giving you something to work on it and help you improve, like giving you an actionable takeaway. That's my favorite way to say it. So for the conversation today, Sam, about being a better loser, when we start this, it's very easy to say, hey, why do people suck at trading? Why is it so hard to make money trading? Why don't we just go bigger picture though? Why do you think it's hard for humans to accept loss? What about loss is very difficult to grasp and to get comfortable with?
I think it's in our human nature to not want to lose. No one really likes to lose anything in terms of the way we are as human beings. But I think it goes deeper depending on our identity and personality. Some really take a loss a bit harder than others. You know that. I mean, all traders don't like to lose, but some sit with it, right? They sit with it for a day, for a week, for a month, and it lingers and it affects their state of being. But overall, loss is always associated with the meaning you give it, right? You might have a losing trade today, and another one, someone else in a different part of the world or even in the network is having the exact same loss. You exit the trade, he exits the trade as well, but he's giving it an entire different meaning than you. You're going, oh, that's just part of my strategy. I'm playing the playbook. This is my stop loss. I'm out. And that person's going, oh my God. And then the meaning he gives that experience is where it differs, if that makes sense.
100%. Really good answer already. So let's go deeper on that for a second. Meaning making, the definition of loss and how we interpret loss. Where does that come from? Are we going to just say childhood? Are we going to say traumatic events? How does one reassess where in their life did I start to define loss this way? Because what we're saying innately is losses that are defined as failure will beat you down and cause you to go off tilt and cause all the bad things to happen. So maybe let's start at the beginning. Where does that definition of loss come from?
Sure. So that's a very good question. So first, in order for us to break this down for everyone that's listening or watching, I think the most important thing is to go back to the fundamentals. The fundamentals of who we are is our mind, right? Our mind, I like to call it the operating system of who we are, right? 95% of who we are, this is a very common now, a lot of people know this, it's subconscious, it's unconscious. So we have those habits and behaviors that is always ever happening in the background. So from the day we're born, this is how we are designed as humans. We repeat certain information, we do certain things that becomes habitual. But what creates that in the process, there's multiple prime directives of the mind. Like when I say prime directives, I want you to think about it as roles or functionalities that the mind does, that you're not really telling it to do, it just does it anyway. One of which is the meaning-making process to all your experiences in life, every single one of them, right? Subjective to where you are in your life. So at a different age, you give different meanings because the level of intellectual, the level of awareness that you're at is different to where you are today, for example. So along the line, things happen to us, Austin. Experiences happen to us with our parents, with our family, with our school, with our society. And throughout those experiences, when we assign a meaning, because that's what we're doing, we're always giving a meaning to something, right? You did something to me, that means that. You said that this way, therefore it means that. We're playing that all in our mind most of the time subconsciously. Now, in that process, there are things that make us feel a certain way as well, Austin. So if I encounter a certain experience in my life, I assign a meaning, then the feeling is associated with that. So if that incident doesn't make me feel good, I'm not going to feel good, right? Naturally speaking. But associated with that, the final connection is the process of what do you decide based on that. If something happened to you 3 times or more, what decision have you given that, Austin? And if you've given it a decision, i.e. a belief that you're not good enough, or you can't lose, or losing means you're a failure. See these type of meanings that are there, and most traders, whether they want to admit to it or not, out there, they have that. That's why the emotional response kicks in and goes, no, I'm not. And then all books of rules are out there. Stop losses don't mean anything. I'll leave that. And the rest is
And we've
is
all been
pretty
there.
clear.
Anyone that's been trading has been there 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So I trust that answers the question. So it starts from our conditioning, and then the process obviously is tied back to where you are in terms of your current personality as a person, and then of course as a trader. Because you as a person, Austin, in your life today, when you sit behind the desk, you're still Austin. You're still the same guy. You're just Austin putting on the skill set of trading. But as a personality, you're dealing with things in life the same way you deal with things with your trading, to an extent. Because if you're disciplined outside of your trading, we always speak about this, you're going to be disciplined in your trading. It's just a trait, a positive trait you have.
Absolutely. It made me think of, like, subconsciously, I think back to an experience I had when I was younger. And I wondered for a long time, so we can put me in the chair for this example here. I
Are you
wondered,
sure you want to do that?
yeah, come on, the podcast listeners will love
Okay,
that.
let's go.
And that'll make it more applicable maybe to some people, because I think like my own perspective on one situation in my life when my mother had a stroke. She had a brain aneurysm. It was really bad. She should have died, and she's still alive today. So miracles are
Amazing.
a real
Thank God.
thing. Thank God for now. She still drives me crazy, but it's okay.
That doesn't change.
That doesn't change. Stroke or no stroke, mothers will still drive
Mothers.
us crazy. Yep.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I was 17 or I was 16. I can distinctly remember at the hospital, everyone was crying. My dad didn't know what was going on. I saw him cry. I mean, you don't see your dad cry that often.
Yeah.
So it was very weird experience.
Mhm.
But in my perspective, I remember saying to myself, I have no control over the outcome of this situation.
Mhm.
I don't know where that comes from. That I don't know how we'll figure that out. But I had this perspective of, I can't control the outcome of this. So all I can do is control what I think and how I feel as much as possible. So I tried to think positive thoughts. I tried to make the family, and I was like 16 at the time. So it was kind of weird that everybody, all the adults are crying and I'm not crying. I'm like, hey, we got to try to think positive. We got to try to hold it together. Now, of course, when you get home, I remember vividly getting home, sitting in my room that night, crying. I can remember crying that time when no one was around. But in the moment in front of people, I didn't. I was trying to control what I could control, not let emotions get the best of me. But in that moment too, everyone assumed my mom was going to die and we were going to lose someone. And I wonder how much that event in my life at 16 has impacted the way that I view loss. What do you think about that? All right, boys. I'm finally excited to share this information. The free futures course that I've been working on the last few months is finally ready for you. There's a link in the description to grab this course. Again, it is totally free. All I ask is that you leave me a review. I can see everybody that takes the free course. If you don't leave me a review, I'm going to come kicking your door down and asking you for that review. Because in my opinion, and this is what I'm hearing from other people, you're going to watch this and you're going to say, why is he giving this information out for free? Well, I'm giving you the strategy that has helped me and other traders in our group get funded and get paid out as futures traders, because I don't believe strategy is the only component to getting paid out. It is an important factor in your overall success, but it is not the only factor. And I think that out of all the factors that lead into successful trading, strategy should be the one that you almost would say is the most simple. So I want to give you a simple strategy that's proven to work not just for me, but for other traders. And then I want to help you push yourself to get funded and get paid out. And that's what we're going to do with this free course. So check it out. There's a link down there. Just make sure if you watch it, you leave me a review, because I'll come asking you for it if you don't. I really appreciate all the feedback, all the attention you guys always give me. I'm just here to help you guys make more money as much as I can. So enjoy the course, and now enjoy the rest of the video.
Very good, and thank you for sharing that story. And I'm really happy to hear that your mom is still healthy and around. That's a blessing. It truly is.
It is.
Now. What's important is I want to cover two angles, because I think it's really interesting. So firstly, you asked yourself, where did that voice come from? Or where did that decision for me not to fall into the majority of crumbling down and in that space? Now that comes from something in your past, something that created a character in you, a conditioning in you, where when everything was out of balance, you needed to show up to be the powerhouse, to be there for others. So what happened is there's an essence from you, but that's also subject to your conditioning. So maybe modeling your father, certain things that made you strong when you needed to be strong in life, that was a moment that part of you came up and said, okay, this is how we're going to handle it. because if you're going to fall into everyone, then there's no one to not save the day, but no one there to be the anchor, especially when you see your father, you know, having those tears. You got to show up, right? So that's happening unconsciously. Okay.
Yep.
Now, how you dealt with that experience as well. If you had a heightened charge, this is what happens in life for those that are listening. When we have moments in our life that is extremely difficult, what happens is there is bound to have an emotional charge, emotional response, okay? So if I have a heightened emotional response, yours wasn't as heightened, you only did a release when you went back home, but if there was a heightened emotional experience and you still had that emotion, it was there, your mind takes a screenshot of that moment in the hospital where you saw your dad, because you said it was weird, but there was an emotion associated, it was like a sensation that stuck. So now with that incident, and I love using this as an example, there was a decision that was made, okay? A decision that was made within you that deals with loss today differently and doesn't go, if this happens, then I'm losing it all. No, you don't lose it all. So I'm just reading you, and maybe you can affirm that, but what I'm reading from you is you have that mindset of, I could lose something today, but I can replace this tomorrow. Life carries on. I got to focus on what I want, and I got to focus on what I want to create. And we're not falling the victim.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think I was also, from that experience, if any negative came from it, I think I feared death after that for a little while, because when she was so close to dying and then she doesn't die. So you fear death, and then you think about loss a little bit differently. But now, as I've gotten older and done a lot of work on myself and reflection, and I mean, a lot stuff we could talk about off the podcast, some recreational drug use that probably doesn't need to be public. You know what I'm saying? And I think that has helped me with the dealing with the idea of death. So I don't fear death, but I think that kind of all came together, like getting over the fear of dying, and then seeing that there's only things you can control and things you can't control. Things are out. Like no one, when my mother had the aneurysm, like no one did anything to her. It just happened. She was driving the car and it just happened. So the universe steps in sometimes and still will change things around. So you have to take that, I feel like, for myself and say, all right, I learned, focus on what you have control over, right? Some things you don't, but then also don't be afraid of the ultimate loss, which is death.
Yes.
So by putting all of that together, I actually think it has helped me in my trading, because like trading, I can't control the outcome of the trade. It can be the best setup in the world and you're still going to lose. Even David, who has like the damn near 100% win rate, still takes losses sometimes. So 100%. It's like nothing is for certain in trading. Nothing wins for all. So you have to get comfortable with losses. But then this is where I think, from that experience, my ability to be like, hey, I can't control that. Focus on what I can control, not over risking, not over trading, not being too heavy those are variables I can control. Let's focus on that. So I think all of it came together to actually help me in my career now, 100%. Which is interesting.
And it's a great example. And now imagine another 100 different scenarios that's made up a part of your personality today with your trading. And this is what I want to, tie it back to understanding our character and our emotional response, and also our emotional attachment to these outcomes. See, again, it's you now have that mindset because you're like, well, a loss is something I cannot control. Beautiful decision that's come from your experience. And secondly, now I know that I need to just focus on the solution, focus on where I'm going, and not focus on that. Because if I keep focusing on that, I continue moving towards it. And which brings me to a very important point that, again, comes back to the traders that I've been noticing working with both privately and at the academy. I've been seeing that there's this running away from something. And I think you would resonate with what I'm about to say. Most traders out there, especially the guys that's starting off the first 2 to 3 years, are initially start with a mindset, this is going to take me a couple of years, I understand. But they get excited when they get in there, and now they start to dream. They start to go, oh, I just made a couple of $1,000s today. Now that means I could, quit my job, because most people don't really like what they do. Let's be honest, right? So what they're doing is they're running away from a job, a 9 to 5, because they want trading. They want the financial and the abundance. They want freedom. We all work for freedom. That's what it is at the end of the day. Yeah. Now, but the running away from is creating a form of desperation, is creating a form of, I don't want to lose, I can't exit the trade. I can't, because if I'm just going to hope now, I'm going to hope it's just going to come back. You know what I'm trying to say? So
100%.
So that's the irrational level of mind that is taking over emotionally when the thing doesn't go according to what they want. And that's where one of the root problems, we would say, is. Now with your reality, with my reality, with David's reality, we're going towards something, right? This is important. So I have a towards strategy. I'm going for it, Austin. I don't have any other way. I'm just going for it. Now, whatever happens in the way is part of the process, but I'm not running away from something, if that makes sense.
Right.
That's a different energy.
100%. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah. Going towards something versus running away from something is so different. Absolutely. Do you think, now going through my experience and after your answer here, do you think that the best traders have had an experience like, because you've worked with a lot of traders, I know,
Yeah.
virtually and in your office, have you had to see, like, if you look at all the successful traders you've worked with, like David, that are really high performing, have they all had, I mean, David had an extremely traumatic event. You know what I'm saying? So like, do all of these people have some form of traumatic event that they have to kind of reason with and take lessons from in order to grow?
I would say traumatic is a big word.
Yeah.
Not everyone has been through trauma, and I'm talking about big events like one that you've just mentioned. I would consider that a trauma because it's an experience that's a shock to the system, an expectation hitting me once, and now I have to deal with this, right? So that's a shock to the nervous system, right? And that it creates an imprint in us when we have a heightened charge. But most of us, and I want to be very clear with this, most of us, it doesn't matter how good you are as a trader, wherever you are in your journey, we all have some form of conditioning, okay, that can, and in some cases does, influence our trading, okay? So you might have the ideal personality already, you're a disciplined trader, you're having your rituals, you've got your mindset right from your conditioning supported you, then great for you. But the majority that we see today, which is realistic, have some form of insecurity, because most of us do, unless you work on it. If you want to be honest and put the ego aside and go, well, all of us have something that we either worked on or working on or haven't identified yet, but we're waiting for something in our journey, even as a trader, for it to show its face. And then we go, oh 100%. Shit, now we're going to, excuse my language, we got to deal with it, right? We got to deal with it. So ultimately all boils down to, yes, to answer that question, the majority do have something that needs to be shifted. And the way we trace it is on their habits, their behaviors with trading, their emotional response, and then we trace that back to the root of where that comes from, especially when it's impact their trading, like unable. I mean, come on, man, as a trader, if you can't exit your losing trades when you're supposed to, sometimes you can get lucky, as we all know, you get back and you somehow survive, but you're bypassing your playbook, man. You're not sticking to the strategy. So you 100%. Get away with it once, you get away with it twice, but we all know what happens the third time.
If you even make it to the third time, right?
If you even make it to the third time, I'm being generous, to be honest.
Yeah, seriously.
So understanding and having that reflection, which is really important as traders, to go, let's be honest with ourselves. Do I struggle when I need to stick to my stop loss or exit the trade, or is it very like, yeah, boom, out, next, I'm on to the next one. I'm focusing my mental capital on the next winning trade that I could do well at, versus, oh, no, I need to fight this, and no, it can't happen to me because, oh my God, that means this and that and da-da-da. And then there's an emotional response. And just, I know I'm doing a lot of talking here, but it's important because I'm tying it together. Sorry, Austin, but it's an important
No, don't be sorry. Keep talking.
Yeah. So remember, emotional response is part of our state of being, right? So how we think and how we feel dictates our behavior. So if I'm getting an emotional response because I'm seeing a losing trade, I can't exit, now something takes over. It's happened to all of us. Something takes over, whether in your life, it's an energy, it's a state, it's a program that kicks in and goes, okay, desperation mode on, fear mode on. Now, what does that make me do? It makes me not behave and sticks to my trade. It makes me act rogue and go in as a warrior and start fighting the battle, which shouldn't be the case, and so forth. But that's a state that takes over because it narrows its focus instead of broadening its focus. That happens when we are in a stressful state, if that makes sense.
Right. And in a similar fight or flight response, right? Narrow focus 100%. Versus wide focus. Yeah.
100%,
interesting,
man. Yeah.
You keep mentioning charge and energy and electrical energy. I think that this is an interesting side kind of bar for a second. Did you listen to the Terrence Howard episode with Joe Rogan?
No, I don't think. Yes, I did. Of
Oh,
course. Yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah, dude, crazy,
Of
right?
course.
So
Of
there's a lot
course.
of
Of
people now
course.
that are talking about this electrical, electrical universe theory, which is that the
Yes.
entire universe is built of, like Tesla said, frequency,
Of course.
sound, and waves, right? And
Of course.
it's a very interesting argument. But when you think about it, you go into any public building. When I
Yeah.
was in public school, they had them
Yeah.
on the wall all over the building. They
Yeah.
had defibrillators where you would shock somebody and insert electrical energy back
Of
into their body
course.
to bring them back
Of,
alive.
of
So when you
course.
talk about this stuff, you know that we both know this. There are people that hear your type of conversations and they go, this is
Yeah.
rah rah stuff. Show me the chart and shut up. Right.
Sure.
But
Sure.
then
I'd be
when
more
you
than
look
happy
at
to explain.
exactly, but when you are in real life, electrical energy and frequencies are literally in your body keeping you alive. So to act like the charge is irrelevant or to act like you can't impact your own positive or negative state based on the way you think and the way you feel, like you said, it's actually
100%.
silly to ignore it. You know what I mean?
No, to be honest with you, I love that you're bringing this point up, and I think that this can be a whole podcast on its
It
own.
really
But
could.
I just want to clarify two or three important points. Number one,
Please.
quantum physics is one of the most advanced, most ever-changing, most accurate science out there, and you can do the research out there. So it's important to understand that our neurology and our energy is all starting from that atom, and we can't argue that because that's the core of our being, of who we are. We can't argue that we are electric beings because we actually operate through electricity when we are sending signals from the brain to different parts of the body. This is something that is out there today. So understanding that we are electromagnetic it's something that it's not even up for debate, if that makes sense. Now we take that a layer deeper and we go, okay, cool. So what happens scientifically from a medical perspective to our nervous system, which is electric, when we change how we perceive something? So different chemicals hit in the body, the energy of the body changes, which is measurable. They can see that the electromagnetic field of the body changes. That's why when someone feels low and feels sad, their body energy goes down. Have you seen someone that is sad and is in the mood to go out partying?
No.
Their energy's down, right? But what happens is that's the frequency of their body, and that's measurable. So we have multiple frequency that are layered in that is influenced by a few things, one of which is how we think and how we feel, because thoughts are electric. When you have an EEG device on top of someone's head and you measure the thoughts and the brain waves, they are electromagnetic and they have different frequencies. So when you're stressed, you're high beta, now your brain waves are different. There's a different frequency that's happening in the body. Again, this is all out there and you can find the research. And everyone should be knowing this by now in their journey, wherever they are. So understanding the fundamentals of our own making, right? Because if we don't get that, then how do we control our emotional regulation? How do we regulate our nervous system? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's important. So thank you for bringing that up. But I genuinely mean that needs a quantum
It
model
does.
of reality needs a whole different topic. You know what I mean?
Well, and you think about like when you're super sad, you're depressed, like in your example, they never want to get out of bed. My mother suffered from depression for a long time. Like when my
Same.
grandfather passed, yep, that was like it wasn't even her father. And she felt the energy of it and spent a week or two in bed. It might have been longer than that. I don't remember exactly. But the point is, it's like, not only does it affect your charge and your body and your thoughts and all of that, it compounds on top of each other, right? But it can actually spill over into other people, right? If we're talking
Yes.
about electrical beings and electrical things, we are electrical beings. Well, so is the earth. The earth has an electromagnetic field and charge.
That's why you got
So
to
if
ground every day, man. You got to put your feet
100
on the
put your
grass
feet in
every
the
day, man.
I had people over my house on Memorial Day and my buddy was wearing flip-flops in the backyard. I was like, bro, take your damn flip-flops off. He was like, I'm going to make your house dirty with my feet. I said, I don't care if the house gets dirty, bro. We got cleaning ladies. Get your feet on the ground. It's good for you.
Exactly.
And in the
Exactly.
sun.
You discharge.
But isn't that like, I live in Florida. You live in a sunny place.
Yeah.
You go sit
Yeah.
outside in the sun on a shit day and you take in that positive energy. Day gets a little better. I feel it every day.
Of course.
Yeah, it's crazy.
100%.
And then
Yeah,
those same people that will feel the sun charging them, they will feel how the earth and the atmosphere and nature can charge them, will then be like, no, it doesn't matter for my trading. Come on. It all ties together. And this is what I'm working with. So over the years, as my coaching program has grown, I've attracted guys that are actually profitable traders, as you have,
Right.
but
Yeah.
and they don't need as much technical
Yes.
help. They want me to talk to them about optimization. And these are
Of
the
course.
conversations that we have. And that's why I got guys like Thomas that have come to you and a couple other guys that have come to you guys,
Yes.
because I
Yes.
think that they start to see the technical side of trading is only a small fraction. I mean, everybody will guess a different number, 25% of it,
Mhm.
50%. It's definitely not more than 50% of it because, like you already mentioned, we could be in the same trade. But if you're emotionally off tilt and I'm in the flow, we're going to exit that trade. You're going to get in 3 different times. You're going to screw it up and I'm going to make money. So it does
100%.
come together. It's very important. So let's go back for a second to the conversation a little bit about improving the way that we take losses. And I asked you, do you need a traumatic event in order to then get better at accepting loss? And you said not really, because not everyone has gone through something like that. What else can people do if they want to improve their loss taking ability? How can they work on letting go of the results of things and focusing more on the outcome, right? We've heard that process over outcome
Yeah.
thing, but how do you actually help yourself day on day doing that? What's up, everybody? I really appreciate you being here for this episode, for this video. But before we keep going, I have to let you know about ASFX TV. I just extended the free trial period to 7 days. So if you're interested in trading live with me and our team on ASFX TV, just use the link down below. It's probably flying in above my head. Check it out. It's a free trial. Like, what do you have to lose? And even after the free trial, it's only $10 a month. I think we all agree that the best way to learn how to trade, while courses and books are helpful, the best way to do it is to be with someone, sit next to someone who is more experienced than you and watch them navigate the live market. That's what ASFX TV is. So if you're looking to shortcut your learning curve and you don't want to buy courses, you're done with all that video bullshit, and you just want to see someone making money, losing money in the live market, you want to see how a professional handles that, come to ASFX TV. You'll see after the 7-day free trial, it's a no-brainer. For $10 a month, you're going to cover that cost and some in the first couple of days of the trade calls that we give you. So come check it out. There's a link in the description, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning in the live trading room.
Fantastic. So I love the question. So there are multiple ways. So I will start with the entry level way that everyone today that is watching that can start doing that. I go back to the principle again. Remember, our state of being is how we think and how we feel, right? And in that state, when you are experiencing a loss, if the meaning you're giving that experience changes your state, you have a different state of being. All of a sudden, you're not in flow state anymore. You're in a fight or flight mode, right? So fundamentally speaking, to get to the root cause of it, you need to change the meaning-making process subconsciously that's giving that experience. So that's subconscious. You go, okay, so what does that mean to me? Okay, it means that. Okay, so I'm now going to start to repeat in my mind, write it down every day that this is a healthy loss. This means a learning to me. And I write that in my rules and I repeat it day in and day out. And I'm trying to give your audience a form that takes a long time sometimes. But what you're doing is you're reconditioning yourself. You're reconditioning the meaning-making process for leaving or exiting a loss, okay? Now, there are much more effective with full transparency ways, which is what we do at the Academy, where we have a tool that you learn and you do yourself, where it will identify for you where that root comes from and then change that meaning for you. So you replace it with a different meaning. So for example, if I feel that I can't exit a losing trade, and I'm being honest with myself now, and the reason for that, through the work, we identify it, of course, where, it's boiling down to self-worth. Oh, wow. Okay. So it has a relationship with my self-worth. When I'm losing, it makes me feel like I'm a loser, and that's affecting my root, which I have as a conditioning where I don't believe I'm good enough or worthy enough. So that's the pain. That's where the charge is coming from, right? It's not the losing trade. It's
the way.
What am I running away from? I'm running away from the belief that I am unworthy, because that's the meaning from that. So that's where the deep work needs to happen. Full transparency, right? Now, that needs to shift because you've now identified the roots, the shift of. So that's where you have to change the meaning. So working on the meaning, or identifying through tools. The second way is you train your mind and you prime your mind, which is another thing we teach at the Academy, where how do you regulate your nervous system and put it in a primal state that when that does happen, I'm not having a shock to it. I'm going, I'm calm about it. So when you're
Interesting.
calm about it, you don't think, you have more control over the meaning making process. So you're not going to jump to conclusion and go back to that inner child that goes, oh my God, that's a loss. Therefore, I'm not good enough. Therefore, I'm unworthy. And oh my God, look at my life. And that hurts. And I don't want to admit it,
It's very
etc.
interesting. I love that you use the word in there, conditioning, not rewiring.
Yes.
Rewiring sounds like I can unplug and plug it back
hmm
in very easily.
hmm
No, this
hmm
is like training yourself to run a marathon. The
Yeah.
word conditioning is very important here.
100%. And when I say conditioning, it's really important because what you're doing is you're creating new neural pathways in your brain that wires and fires together. So
Right.
right now, when a losing trade happens, I have the image that immediately comes into my mind. I read that information. My brain goes, oh, image of a losing trade. Then it finds the closest neuron next to it that gives, what does that mean and how does it make me feel? And if you've been making that meaning and feeling for so long as a trader or in life, it's pretty much, the neural connection, it's easier. It's because it's just going to go there because that's what it's used to
Right.
doing. So you layer it over with conditioning where you create a whole new neural pathway that states healthy learning, healthy learning. I know what I'm doing. It's part of my strategy. Healthy learning, healthy learning. That's what's going to get me there, because the more learnings I gain at my trading, the better I can adjust, the better I become as a trader. And that's what I'm focusing on. So the different experience happens, and that way the habit of how you deal with that changes, right? That's the
100%.
conditioning. If that makes sense.
It
Yeah.
makes sense. So it's kind of like
Sure.
if you're driving down the highway and you're used to taking exit 30 to get home. Now they put in exit 29 and a half, and that one gets you to your destination faster. You just need to learn the road. You just need to take it. And then all of a sudden your brain stops looking for exit 30 and you're taking 29 and a half.
Beautiful. And the first time takes a bit of effort, right? Because you're like, oh, this is a new turnoff. How
Right.
do I find this
Right.
turnoff? Where am I going? Is there a traffic light? Is there a raid, or like I don't know,
Right.
police, and I'm
Police
driving
look
through,
hiding
whatever.
it. Right. Yep.
Exactly. So now you're learning, you're creating a whole new channel, a whole new way. Do it once, do it twice, do it 3 times. You're arriving home unconsciously. And we've all done that. We've all arrived from one place to another. We don't even know how we got there. That's what
Yep.
happens in trading. We're doing things unconsciously because that's the neural pathway that we have, because the brain always wants to save you energy. It wants to do things for you. So it'll go,
Yeah.
I got this. I know how you've done this so many times. When this trade happens and you can't lose it, this is how you react. And you're going to start doing this. And this is your damage control. And this is how you're going to lose the
Dude,
shit.
that's so good. That's so good. Cause it's like, even on the other side of that, when you think about it on like a bad trade, you take a bad trade, you're going to go to the next closest neuron, the neural pathway. It's going to get you there fastest. It's going to say, oh, you lost that trade. You'll probably win the next one. Double down. And then you keep doing that and it'll get easier to do that. That's why, like, this is the hardest part about when I'm coaching people, they will win trades sometimes. And I have to be the asshole that comes in
Yeah.
and says, yeah, but I could guess you're going to blow this account within a week because you broke your rules. You broke your habits. You lost 3 trades and doubled down 10x the size on the 4th trade and made it all back. That's not sustainable. But in the moment, as a new trader, you go, but I made money. But you don't get that. The conversation that we're having, a new trader is not going to listen to this. They're going to go over it.
Yes.
They're going to go look for an indicator. They're going to look for a chart. This is for the guys that have gone through it already. Now, I have to go back to one other thing you said.
Sure. Sure.
Priming. That matters because the priming matters on how you interpret the loss. Priming would be morning routine. Priming would be the perception you have of yourself before you take the trade. Priming would also, I would say, and tell me if I'm missing any, I would think priming also means think about how your end of day should look. What do you want to do today
100%.
to make today look really good, right? All of that goes into priming.
100%, Austin. I love how you're in tune with what we're talking about, and that's why I enjoy talking with you. I really mean that. It's really important to understand that priming, again, is a modern science. People can search this up and understand our neurology, understand that if we don't prime our mind, if we don't prepare ourselves for the day and how we want it to go and how we see ourselves and how we're going to feel at the end of the day and how we're ending the day, and we're rehearsing that in our mind, closing our eyes and doing it. For someone out there goes, what is this guy doing? This is a bit of woo, spiritual. No. It's proven that when you prime your mind, you create new neural pathways, because the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and not.
Nope.
You watch a horror movie or you watch a sad movie. We all, you have tears, or you feel you're engaged in the movie.
Or
Because
a
the mind is
dream
going,
that feels real.
exactly, you're in it, right? You're in it. So understanding that when you prime your mind to things that you want, outcomes that you want, you're creating a roadmap at the end of the day, Austin, that is giving you the breadcrumbs of how to get there. Because if you don't prime, guess what? You're living the memories and the dates and everything of your past. You keep living in your
You're a
past,
victim of your
unfortunately.
subconscious. You're not in
And you're
control
living
of it.
the same flipping program that is the day before. 60 to
100%.
70,000 thoughts of the day before is you repeat it today. That's research this. It's available. So understanding that I need to create something new, because if I'm not succeeding as a trader and I keep making the same mistakes, something needs to change, guys. Otherwise, you're not going to keep winning it by fluke, and something needs to change within your behavior, within the way you do things, and you got to identify that, work on changing it. Okay, so where's that coming from? Because if you don't, it's a program, and
It's going to repeat.
and 95% of the time, you ain't in charge. That's the
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah, we're like computers. Just like computers have
Exactly.
electricity, like we talked about the defibrillator, that's what we are. We are just a different version of a computer when you really get down
Exactly,
into
man.
this, right? And you try
Exactly.
to think about why do I react this way when this happens? Well, like it is
Exactly.
because of the programming. It's because of the pathways that have already been set. It's not random.
It's not random, and you've been doing that over and over again, and you become so good at it, man. You become so good at fighting that losing trade. You become so good at resisting that. You become so good at blaming yourself. You become so good at finding someone outside of you in your environment to blame, to
Yep.
become the victim, to go,
Yep.
it's not my fault, it's because of
It's
the bloody market.
it's the market, it's the
It's the
broker, it's this. Yep. Yep.
Exactly.
We've all heard them all.
Exactly, man. And
You would be proud of
that's
me last week, Sam. I took 2 days last week where I had taken losses. I tried my best as always to take them well, but I now
yeah.
have done enough trading that I know I can't let those losses impact me too much going into the next day. Long story short, I ended up making all the money back that I lost on Tuesday and Wednesday, made it back on Thursday in one trade while I was on the live stream with the Top Step CEO. So by sticking to my process and focus on those small conditionings I'm trying to do every day, I don't carry the weight of the losses into the next day, which if you're going by programming, you're just
Exactly.
going to be thinking about that loss from the last day. That's how we're programmed. Get it back. Think about, linger on it. But when you learn to
Yes.
cut the cord, you get back into the flow quicker, and it's a great, great feeling. I think
Exactly.
that
And
you would have been proud of me.
I'm proud of you. And that's what we call managing and regulating their emotional response. You're human, you're going to react. There's going to be some form of reaction because no one likes to lose. Let's make this clear again from the start. No one likes to lose a losing trade. But how you react versus someone else is where is the winning source. Because
100%.
how quickly do you get back on track to focus on that and trust your system, believe in your system, believe in your strategy? How can you actually believe in your strategy and your rules if you keep breaking them because you're dealing with an emotional response? The best way, I
100%.
always say this to the traders I work with privately, I get traders that come and say, it's my strategy is 110%. And I'm like, okay, but my mindset is off. I'm like, okay, we'll see. Now I work on the mindset. I'm like, how do you know your strategy is 100%, 110% or 100% if you haven't given yourself a 40-day of full discipline and knowing of those rules actually serve you and give you what you need? If you keep breaking the rules, then we don't even know if your playbook is actually feeding and serving you. That's why we change
Spot
that
on.
eventually. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
100%. How important does gratitude play in the role of accepting losses better?
Well, it's a powerful thing because gratitude is the best and the most ultimate state. Okay, so we talked about state, the programs that we have that are running in the back end. The best program to be connected to on a daily to day basis, because it's a program, it's a state, is the ability to focus on gratitude, to focus on your heart, and to focus on something in your life that is going well. There's always one thing that we can be grateful for, maybe two, maybe three, but there's always. So what does that
Being
does,
alive.
dude? Having my mother still around, having a roof over my head, not being stuck in war, whatever that is, there's a gratitude to be in a space where you can fall into that place. And the moment you feel gratitude, you can't think about anything else, anything negative. So what does that do? It puts you in a very whole state where you go, I'm trying my best, I'm working hard, I believe in myself, I'm grateful to the fact that I get to do this every day, and I'm going to keep at it and I'm going to keep growing. And that's a beautiful, powerful mindset. It's an abundant mindset. You know, it's
Yep.
an abundance.
And
It's not
it
lack.
cultivates that energy. Not to cut you off, Sam, I'm sorry.
Of
But it
course,
does.
brother. And
In conversation about energy, it's like you can be negative and be like, man, I hate trading. I'm going to make my money back. The market fucked me. I'm getting it back. Or you could be like, I'm just grateful that I don't have to go pick up trash today. That's always my default. It's like you could be picking garbage. You not even like, because there's always like you could be a poor child in Africa.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
especially if you were born in America or born in a developed country where you have the ability to become successful and have a free life. And for the most part, right, you can't relate too much to that but you can relate to picking trash. We all know somebody that works construction that doesn't want to. We all know somebody that's doing something they don't want to do, like you mentioned earlier. So it's like rooting everything we do in gratitude. I find when I'm more grateful, I'm just happier. And they said it, it's funny, we're talking about this. They said it today on the Top Step live stream. The CEO, Michael, the guy I mentioned already, he said, there's no trader making money that's an asshole. No one is making consistent money being an asshole. The positive guys, the guys that are willing to share, the guys that are nice, even when they lose money, they're still positive. Those guys are true winners in this business.
Of course. And you know, I don't know him, but when you say to him, say Sam aligns with you 100% on that, because
I will.
the guys that are in gratitude, the guys that are appreciating what is, are the people that have more heightened energy. They have more hope. They have more of an understanding that things are going to work out, because they trust in the process. They trust in themselves. They said, well, I'm here. It got me. I'm grateful for what I have. And you know, one of my mentors that I did a lot of work with and done his courses, I think we mentioned his name before. His name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's one of the leading neuroscientists in the world, and he's a beacon for the US. And it really is. If you read his work and you understand what he says one of the statements he has is, he says, gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. Because what happens is, when you are grateful, you're in a space where you're appreciative of all that you have in your life. But when you appreciate what you have, you start to get more of it, because now you're focusing on what you have. So all of a sudden, that energy is more of an open energy. I'm welcoming things in my life. You know, I'm opening to receive. I'm opening to opportunities. I'm not fighting. I'm not desperate. I'm not lacking. I'm out there, and I'm grateful. So the people that are grateful are the ones, and I've seen this with my professional traders like David and others that are high performers. They're always in a state of gratitude, because they know where they came from. They know what they've been through. And if anything had to end, they'll be happy the way it is, because they're striving. They want to continue better in their life. But in the pause moment, they're grateful, man. They're grateful because I know a lot of traders who've had it hard before they've made the money. You know, they've really been through a lot.
So true. It's so true. And I think when you root a lot, like this whole conversation about being a better loser, when you root that, or I should say, when you match that with gratitude, losses, I think, feel less heavy when you understand
100%.
to be slightly more grateful for the opportunity to even play the game than you are to feel negative about taking the loss. That's the sweet spot, maybe.
100%. Austin, that's well said, man. Well said. And I really think that on its own is medicine. If really the traders out there apply this, that is medicine, because that really brings that punch, that charge a bit lower in our body. It makes us go,
it does.
Okay,
Imagine if everybody was just practicing more gratitude, like globally, everyone, from political leaders to day traders, everybody. I think the world would vibrate differently. The entire electrical frequency. I mean, this is why you brought me back to my yoga teacher training when you talked about the ultimate state, right? I think they call it samadhi. I could be incorrect in that, but that level of enlightenment is rooted in gratitude. Of course, there's many other things that go into that, but you don't get to that point without practicing immense gratitude. So I think even if you go back to like the oldest teachings that we can kind of know about, of course, this is up for debate, but the Vedic teachings, those writings are thousands and thousands of years old, and they were talking about gratitude. They're not talking 100%. About day trading. They're talking about these core pieces to building a whole life. Like you said, you feel whole, and
100%.
You'll never trade well empty. You'll never trade well when you need the money.
There's constant lack, man.
There's constant lack.
Think about that. think about that lack consciousness, that lack mindset versus a mindset of abundance and of gratitude.
Oh yeah.
Two
Well, in
different
trading, it
minds.
screws you because if you play from lack, there's always
Yeah.
more. If you play for always more and you never just stop, you'll never realize gains. You'll never take profits. You'll never get payouts. You have to stop at some point and take the wins. But that's very hard if you're not grateful.
Yes, is it because you constantly want more, and unfortunately, that is where greed kicks in, right? Greed kicks in when we're not grateful for what is. We want
That's
more, and we
exactly it.
keep comparing ourselves to others in the space, and then we start a different state kicks in, and we know this exists in the world where we actually end up wanting bad things for people because we can't stand seeing someone succeed because it makes me feel not good and it makes me feel
Inadequate. Yep.
lesser. It makes me feel lesser and inadequate, the word you used, and that's the difference, brother. So
And it compounds on itself. And then you're burying yourself in your own grave.
100%, brother. And look to tie this up, and I think again, because I like using science, I always like to go back to science because science is the evidence today, where if you're not understanding, the spiritual world or the science always is, in my opinion, is unarguable. It's a place where we all meet in the middle, right?
Yep.
So one thing that is important, again, scientifically speaking, it's measurable, and there's an institute out in California called the Heart Math Institute. They study the heart. This is what they do. That's what they do. They study the heart. And a lot of research, peer-reviewed research has come out where they found out that the heart is an electromagnetic organ, right? And they also found out that the heart, when you go into a state of gratitude and you breathe through your heart, you focus on your heart and you start feeling good. We all have that nice feeling in our chest area. What's actually happening is an electromagnetic field that is expanding. And this field is measurable up to 3 meters wide.
That's crazy.
3 meters wide, brother. So you're changing the space around you. So if you're sitting in gratitude, Austin, and I walk into the room, into your space, I immediately feel good. I feel something's different. I feel good. I feel in my heart. I'm like, wow, I feel good around Austin, man. He's an open heart, this guy. He wants good for himself, but he wants good for others. There's no jealousy. Something starts to kick in. There's a different language that you feel that is not necessarily by...
You're literally breathing different air. It's changing.
100%.
It's literally what it is, right? You're so right. And there's people that will say they can't tell, but like you and I know, you walk into a room, you can tell who's in a good mood, who's in a bad mood. When someone walks into a room, I heard them talking recently about Barack Obama on a podcast, and they were saying when that guy comes into the room, everybody stopped. He had that character, that charisma, the air about him. Yes. And that's what that is. It's electrical energy. Yeah.
It's electrical energy. And just to wrap up this point, if you ever, and everyone that's listening, if you've ever been in a room where you walk in and there was a fight in the room, and you go inside, you go, my God, I don't know if you use this term in the US, but you say the air is thick in here. It's like it feels tension.
Like something's about to pop off. Yep.
Yeah, it's this. You just walk in later. There's something happened, and you walk in, and you're like, oh, this feels weird. Like, and you immediately feel a sense of a feeling. You can't deny that, man. That's the field. That's the electromagnetic.
You should not want to deny it. You should want to tap into it, because what we're talking about, it's clearly real science, and you should not want to be a human that walks around ignorant to these things and act like it's hippy dippy shit out in California studying the heart. Not like it's there is some hippy dippy shit in California, but this is not it.
I'm not going to deny that. But when you understand science and you understand peer review research, and you have reputable institute like the Heart Math Institute, and you have, researchers like Greg Braden out there, there's a lot of science that's pointing that direction that you can't deny today. And again, it just depends on the reality you want to live. If you want to opt in for that and go, it's evidence is there. You can choose to see that or not. That's the way it is, right? But at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, you are a human being. You can't deny those things that come with it. And if you want to really better yourself in trading and in life for that matter, you got to understand how to work with your body and your mind. You got to understand how to work with yourself so you can navigate yourself through this life. Because let's be honest, Austin, the whole world right now is shambles. You look at things, and you can easily get sucked into things emotionally. Things can start triggering you when it comes to politics, when it comes to whatever. Anything can start pulling people into different circles of thought. But really what's driving it is an emotional response. It's a charge that takes people to start losing their nuts and not thinking logically about what's really important, how we can connect as one and put all this nonsense aside and actually meet with open hearts, because then we're speaking the same language at the end of the day.
So true. Now, to transition us to something very important
Sure.
when it comes to speaking about language, let's talk about what you guys have coming up in October, since we had a very successful event last October.
First of all, there's a big chance that you might be, if things work out, to be with us on that throughout the event and have you involved, because like I said, I think our energy together can add even more value.
Oh, it'll be electric. It'll be electric.
There we go. And we're now building up to the third conference, third conscious trading conference, which has been really amazing, Austin. And like you said, we have some mutual traders that we both know that have attended. And we have it on the 11th, 12th, and the 13th of October. Dates are booked. We haven't gone out official with our tickets yet. But might be by the time watching this, maybe it'll be out. I'm not sure. And the intention behind it is to create a space where we're using, real mentors, people that are doing the work today, like David, like yourself, like myself, where we're going to break the science, bring in the skill set of trading from David, really going deep into the work and being open to put ourselves out into something that we don't know, something that's new to us that will help us. Like, for example, the previous event that we had some powerful sessions, and some of them were practical sessions. We wanted people to feel how it feels like to change their state and go, shit, I feel different.
I know. Thomas told me about it. I know.
Yeah. I feel different, and something just shifted in my body, and I feel different how I'm looking at, my God, my lens of reality is changing. My perception is changing, because remember, your state dictates your perception, those filters of information. So when you change your state, you change how you see things, and you go,
100%.
hang on, I'm seeing a different side to this way of trading, or to this person, or to that information that I'm receiving, right? So it's filtration, really. But yeah, so super excited about it. I love traveling to the US. I love connecting with my traders there and our tribe, and really it's just an environment where we're open, honest, raw, saying it how it is, using the evidence that is working for us. I just came off a podcast with David. Touch wood, man. I'm so proud of my partner. He had 100% win rate this last week.
I saw
$72,000 made in a week. I mean, come on, man. That's rare. But that's a man living and doing the work. He's a man, everything we've spoken about today, he's done the work. He's shifted his conditioning. He's primed himself. He does priming every day every single day with the journaling and everything he does. So evidence is the loudest voice, Austin. We don't want to play woo-woo here. It's
the results speak for themselves. What's the schedule like? Just tell everybody what it is. I know it's 3 days, right, over the weekend.
Yeah, so we have on the 11th, which is so we have a VIP experience, and then we have the full day experience. So the VIP experience consists of everyone gathering on a Friday, where we have a mastermind in the 54th floor in the US Bank Tower. This is David's favorite place.
He loves it.
Amazing view, such a great setup, and we just open up and we have really hot topics and answering and engaging with certain questions. The full day is on the Saturday, the 12th of October, and it's a full, beautiful day. Lots of sessions, engagements, different experiences, different guests. We're doing some live talks as well. And then that's a full day. And on the Sunday, and that's for everyone for a day pass, and of course VIP. But on the Saturday evening for the VIP experience, we go to our favorite spot, one of David's favorite spots, and now it's my favorite spot. It's the Brazilian Steakhouse. I'm a big meat eater. Sorry guys if I have any vegans that are watching. No disrespect. I need meat. And we have a lovely setup. There is a salad bar, just for the record.
There you go.
There is.
The rabbits can go eat their grass while the rest of us eat like a normal person.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a really good engaging space where we're having we spoke about this off camera, those conversations that could
make the whole event. Yeah. I mean, make your
honestly,
life.
Man.
Yeah. I've met people that I'm still connected with because of these events.
Exactly, man. And then Sundays where we'll have the Blue Room, and that's in the Athletic Club, which is another mastermind, fantastic setup on the roof and also in the Blue Room. And we'll look to get some surprises and announcements there very soon as well.
Yes.
And I think the intention is to bring like-minded people wherever they are in their journey, traders, to support the skill set and the mindset, because whether we want to admit this today or not, they are married to each other. Mindset
100%.
and the skills that you need, the holistic way of doing things for long-term success, and that's just the fact of the matter. So yeah, super excited for that. It's a long journey. It's about 17 hours for me, Austin.
Yeah,
flying
man.
from Dubai.
What do you do?
There.
You go Dubai to London,
Straight.
to
No, dude, fly straight.
really
brother.
straight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Straight
dude.
17-hour, which
That is cool though.
can't-
I've never been on a plane that long. Like you're on, dude, you're friends with everybody on the plane probably.
It's
by the
cool.
end of it.
It's cool when you're flying business.
Yeah,
which
when
is-
you're flying
which is- which is-
economy.
Yeah, when you're flying now, the nice thing about Emirates, it's a good airline, and I'm lucky. I tend to fly business. Sometimes I fly, which is something called premium economy as well, which
Yep,
is also
that's what I
amazing.
do.
But
Yeah, it's good enough.
Premium economy is decent enough. You don't have to splurge if you don't have to. Like I'm lucky with my points, and I have a point system. So
Yep.
if I can upgrade,
That's
I'm
the way to do
upgrading.
it, right?
That's
But
the way
otherwise,
to do it, man.
when I flew to London last year, we did the premium business on Virgin, and like the lay
Yes.
flat is fine, but you know what? That's only 9 hours for me, and I was fine
That's
in the
not
premium.
bad.
And it's like
That's-
I think the premium ticket cost me like 2,100, and the upgraded to first class was like $7,000-8,000. I was like, I don't
It's
think
crazy.
it's worth 4 times the cost.
Austin, I'm gonna make, just for the record, flying business today, even if you have millions, and I know this with David, it doesn't matter with the money, it really has to be smart through the system. Like you have to crack the system. Your points, your credit
Points are the
card,
way to do it. The credit card
get it.
points get you the flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody looked.
Yeah.
We're going to be speaking at the event about conscious trading, but we'll also do a segment on travel points and how to use your credit card points. If anybody wants to know,
If anyone wants, that's the bonus topic.
that's the bonus topic on Sunday.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? It's a great opportunity. So for everybody listening, the reason I had Sam on today is not just to cover the topic of being a better loser, but also to introduce you guys that are my loyal podcast listeners that are going to listen to a 57-minute episode here. We want you guys to know that Sam and I and David are working on not only getting myself there, but getting you guys as listeners, maybe a little bit of a discounted early bird special on the tickets. So just make sure if you are interested in coming to LA in October for the event, you stay following me on social, you stay up with the podcast, make sure you guys are subscribed. That's where you're going to get the information. Because if we do make a deal where I'm coming and I'm going to help push some tickets, you know I'm going to be talking about it. I promote everything with no remorse. With no shame on my promos.
No
People
shame,
comment on
man.
my videos sometimes because like I'll do the daily trading videos, Sam, like little recap, and I'll say, hey, before we get into it, I got to tell you what I got coming this week, blah, blah, blah. People, once a day, somebody will comment and be like, is Austin going to talk about trading or talk about promoting something? I'm like, look, I'm shameless, bro. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm still going to sell my shit. It's just how it's going to be.
You gotta speak your truth, and
you got to talk your shit, because if you don't sell it, who's going to sell it?
Our time is energy. Our time is energy, Austin. Not only that, when you trust and you believe in what you're doing, and you have something very good to offer, there's no shame there, man.
No shame.
You can talk about it every day, because I'm confident about saying, this is going to help you. This is a good platform. This is a good coach. And if you know that you're going to get rewarded, I'll talk about it, because I'm not trying to sell you air.
Especially when it's got proof. You have
Exactly.
David, you have others, like all these other people that speak so highly. It's like, it's got proof. That's when you got to talk your shit, you know? 100%.
Exactly, brother. This is why we gotta be true, speak our truth all the time. But really, Austin, man, this was, I don't want to say.
I'm so glad we did this.
Yeah,
I know.
we could
For
go
everybody
for
listening,
hours.
me and Sam started. We're like, how long are we thinking? 30, 40 minutes. Here we are, an hour deep, ready to keep going for another hour. But we'll pause it for now, Sam. This has been good. So let's do this. This is going to come out end of June, so a couple of weeks away. We'll keep everybody in, tune with what's going on with the event. But listeners, if you're on YouTube or if you're on Spotify and wherever else you listen to podcasts, you can email me. But if you're on YouTube, especially, leave a comment. If you watched all the way through, especially, and you're listening to this point, let us know what you want to hear from Sam and David more. If we want to talk more psychology, if we want to talk more technicals, if there's a specific psychology topic you'd like me and Sam, and maybe we'll bring David in again to do another video, just let us know. I am very much in tune with you guys in the comments. I read everything. I might not answer all of you, but I read everything. So if there is something to dive deeper on, me and Sam will get our snorkel and our scuba and we'll be ready to go. So for now, Sam, I will make sure everybody has the links to your website, your socials, everything down in the description as always, but I can't thank you enough, brother. This has been awesome. So thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Thank you, really.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me. Great conversation as always, man. Have a great one.
Always. All right. And everybody for listening, make sure you guys are subscribed, and I will see you all maybe in LA in October, but definitely in the next episode of the podcast.